Hi, everyone, and welcome to the PAC Chat. I'm Felicia Malelli, Board Chair for NJPHIPAC, and this is Lori, our Board Treasurer. The PAC Chat was recently launched to give us a platform to introduce to you, our community, prominent and key players in New Jersey politics, as well as individuals and advocates whom are influential in affecting change related to health freedom here in New Jersey. So thank you for joining us this evening for this evening's interview. The candidates for New Jersey's Legislative District 16 will be on shortly. Those candidates include Mike Pappas, running for Senate, with Vinny Panico for Assembly, as well as Joe Lukac, who's also running for Assembly in that district. For your information, Legislative District 16 covers over Hunterdon, Mercer, Middlesex, and Somerset counties. Although if elected on New Jersey, these are areas they will represent, their votes and efforts in Trenton will affect all of us. So we welcome them. And please stay tuned in with us tonight, because we will not only have the pleasure of introducing these candidates to you and learning more about the needs for their campaign in District 16, but we will also have a special announcement regarding this district and what it means in regards to the fate of our health freedoms here in New Jersey. If this is your first time tuning in with NJ5PAC, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. NJ5PAC is a grassroots, nonpartisan, and nonprofit political action committee. We are the first political action committee of its kind here in New Jersey, and we were set up through the New Jersey Elect Commission with a specific role to elevate the candidates that align with our mission. NJ5PAC's mission is to protect and strengthen the constitutionally guaranteed and fundamental rights of all New Jersey residents to make medical decisions for themselves and their families without coercion or undue constraint. This political action committee is a logical extension of the democratic process and can be greatly used in our favor. When issues in the current events around parental rights, the use of medical devices such as masks in schools, and the coercion around vaccines being a reoccurring discussion at the dinner table, fluent in our text messaging, that means that activating in a matter such as this is essential for our success. So before we move on to introducing our guests, I wanted to enlighten you a little bit about the NJ5PAC endorsement process. So NJ5PAC has developed a set of standards to measure whether a political candidate is eligible to receive our endorsement. This includes, but is not limited to, the completion of the NJ5PAC survey. We look at their voting records and their positions on matters that affect our mission. When NJ5PAC endorses a candidate, that endorsement is done with integrity and measurement without bias. Our goal is to provide transparency to our community around the candidates who meet this criteria and be a resource for voters in this 2021 election year and beyond. Our efforts provide input around where your votes and support are warranted. When you see the NJ5PAC Gold Seal of endorsement, you can rest assured that this is the best candidate for our collective mission. So our previous and future endorsements can be found on our website at njphipac.org/endorsements, and we will continue to upload those as they roll out. Lori, you're muted, sweetheart.
Sorry. Tonight, we're excited to announce the NJ5PAC's endorsement of the District 16 team, with challengers Mike Pappas running for Senate, Vinny Panico running for Assembly, and Joe Lukac running for Assembly as well. All of these gentlemen successfully won the primary as Republican candidates and will be the district challengers for the general election race. So without further ado, let's welcome the District 16 team. Hi, gentlemen. Welcome to the PAC chat, and thank you for joining us tonight. We're
How's it
excited
going?
to introduce.
How are you?
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining us.
We're excited to introduce you to our community. So, a little bit about the background for our viewers. Legislative District 16 is one of the top districts of focus for NJPHIPAC, and it's important to us that our viewers understand the why behind that. Currently seated Republican Senator Kip Bateman has chosen not to run for re-election this year, and incumbent Democrat Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker is stepping up to run for his Senate seat. Yes, this is a district with a split party of elected officials, which is a testament to how close a race can truly be in this district. There's a close enough voter split that there's a Republican in the Senate and 2 Democrats in the Assembly. So why is this one of the most top important races for our community? In January of 2020, the Religious Exemption Repeal Bill never took a vote in the Senate because it would have been 1 vote shy from passing. This means that 40 of the 40 senators, 20 would have voted yes, and 21 votes were needed to pass. Senator Bateman's a supporter of our community and a committed no vote on that bill had it taken a vote. On the other hand, Assemblyman Zwicker did vote on the Religious Exemption Repeal Bill in the Assembly, and his vote was a yes to pass it. If Zwicker wins the Senate race, we essentially lose a no vote seat in the Senate. And that would be, the RE repeal bill, the 1 vote they needed to pass. So it's easy to do the math and understand why this district in particular is one of the most important races to support in the 2021 general election. In addition to all 3 challengers completing the NJPHIPAC survey with flying colors, we've also had the privilege of beginning to get to know the District 16 Challenger team through conversation and interaction. In fact, Senate candidate Mike Pappas was standing with us this past Friday as hundreds of New Jerseyans across the state stood in East Brunswick to demonstrate their advocacy in preserving parental rights in this state when it comes to child masking in school. Mike stood with all of us as we opposed Governor Murphy's address in which he announced that all students 2 years old and up would be required to wear a mask and socially distance beginning this upcoming school year. So it goes without saying, Mike Pappas is with us with regard to the preservation of parental rights, religious freedoms, and health freedoms. And Andrew Zwicker is absolutely not.
Thank you, Lori. And again, this is why it's so important to have Mike, Vinny, and Joe representing us in Trenton. So thank you for coming on with us tonight and giving us this time to introduce you to our community of passionate health freedom New Jersey residents. This is a good segue to our first questions. Let's bring you guys on and get our community to be introduced to you. Mike, can we start with you and you tell us a little bit about yourself, what your profession outside of politics is, and how you started with politics? What was your segue in?
Well, thank you again for having us. It's a pleasure for us to be here, and it's a pleasure for me to run with Vinny and Joe. They're terrific guys. They're passionate about what we're all trying to accomplish, and having the chance to interact with folks like you is just an amazing encouragement to us. And thank you for your investment in New Jersey's future, and the future of our children. I serve as the township administrator in Bridgewater Township in Somerset County. And I started in politics really as a young person. I was always interested in American history, even as a child. And I started at the local level, pounding signs in people's lawns for a family friend who was running for town council when I was probably 16 years old. People like him, his name was Ott Latanzio, gave me an incredible amount of encouragement, and I really began as a member of a land use board. I was very concerned about massive development that was being proposed in the community where I had been raised, and opposed what was an effort to change the character of our community. That's how I started, and it was a very grassroots effort. The community banded together and opposed this, and was unsuccessful in a small way, but lost a battle, but ended up winning the war. And a number of years later, ran and was elected to the township council on that particular issue. So the importance of preserving our communities, having the citizenry become involved in affecting change was what propelled me running for local office. And so I see a parallel here with what you folks are doing, and I'm honored to be a part of this cause, because it is fighting for a cause. It is trying to ensure that the people's will is what carries the day, not the elitists that are in office, but people who are elected officials should remember that they're working for the people. They're there on a temporary basis, and they're there to represent the best interests of the people that they represent. And we've lost sight of that in many ways in the legislature of New Jersey, and that's one of the reasons why we're running.
Excellent. Hear, hear. Thank you for sharing that. And how, let's jump over to Vinny, and if you could answer those same questions. How did you start in politics, and how long have you been in politics?
Yeah, thanks, Lori. Thanks, Felicia. Appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to meet the folks in your organization. I'm excited for the work that you do, and I'm excited to help your cause as we head down to Trenton. My journey in politics started when I was 19 years old. That was when I first ran for the school board. I was interested in education. I was interested in how we reform education here in New Jersey to make it more effective for students and teachers, how we can make it better, and how we can improve our future just simply based on education alone. And I've been on the school board now for 9 years, the most recent as board president up here at Hunterdon Central. And quite frankly, these last 4 years as I've been board president under Phil Murphy, they've been difficult. We faced a lot of challenges from legislation and executive orders to mandates that come from the Department of Education. And I've seen single-handedly how one administration can do so much damage to schools, to teachers, to students, and to families, as you know. And I got decided that this is it. I'm sick of this. And I want to have some influence and some voice here, because I've watched as our legislators who are currently elected and currently sit in these seats have stood idly by. They haven't done anything to keep our governor in check, and it upset me, right? It upset me to see how my friends who are teachers that I've been working hard to support for 9 years, and the students from around LD16 and around the state have really been at the hands of Phil Murphy and this administration. So I decided it was time to get involved, and met with some folks here locally, and they agreed. And here we are today. I've met Joe and I've met Mike, and we've had a wonderful 6 months together as we put this campaign on the ground, and I'm excited to continue over the next couple of months as we head down to Trenton and we win this thing in November.
Excellent. I can see very clearly why you both would be great representatives, and thank you for your service and the experience that you have, and I'm sure you would be wonderful representatives and in Trenton. Thank you. Joe, I first want to start by thanking you for your, I think it was 12 plus years of service in the U.S. Army. Yes. And love to hear about that, as well as your experience with politics and your segue into politics.
Sure. Well, thanks again for having us tonight. It's our pleasure. It really is. I mean, I was born and raised in Manville, New Jersey, so I'm here. I still live here with my wife, Sharon, and our 3 children. And as you said, after I graduated high school, I always loved service. You know, when I was 13, my dad was in law enforcement, and he came home one day and he said, "Get up and get dressed. We're going out to drop leaflets off at doors." And that's probably where it started. I don't think I had a choice at the time, but that's where it began. So we did that. And, I really liked volunteering. I always helped out around. And after high school, I joined the Army. I served 12 years in the Combat Engineer Corps, honorably. And I got out, settled down, got married, lived in Manville, and we started having our children. And, one of our children was born with some special needs, and he had ADHD, anxiety issues, ODD, and the school wasn't really helping. And I would go to school board meetings. My wife would be in the school with social workers, and they'd say, "This is the best we can do," or "This is what you have to take for your child." We didn't know you could just say no. And So we educated ourselves a little more on the matter, and there was, our school board at the time was, I think the youngest school board member was 79, and somebody told me run for school board. So I did, and we got elected. We started making changes quickly. We got rid of that medieval thought of, just tell the parents something and make them go away thing. And we opened that up. Currently, I'm serving my second term on the Manville Council, and I'm also the Manville GOP chair in Manville. But it's the true reason, all three of us, I believe, and I've known Michael quite a long time, and I've known Vinny for the 6 months that we've been together, but it seems like we've known each other a long time.
Yep.
And, all three of us, I believe, are quick, critical thinking people that can make decisions, the right decisions for every resident in New Jersey. And I can't sit around and just, I've made many difficult decisions on the school board in Manville, on the council in Manville. I can't count on my fingers and toes how many times I was the only guy in the room that said no in a vote. And that's all right. I stuck to my principles. And that's what it is. There's failed leadership down there. If the last 2 years during COVID hasn't brought that to light with a lot of residents, I don't know what will. Because these are those circumstances where true leadership would shine through. And it's not. And I know quite a bit about leadership being in the Army for 12 years. And the people of this state are not getting it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Thank you. I'm going to pass you on to Lori. She's got some questions for you that is going to help our viewers and our community understand what we understand about you guys and how, again, we want to see your representation in Trenton.
I do have to say it's amazing that we have two people who are so well versed in the school board, because after these past 2 years, that's something we definitely need. Somebody who understands the schools and knows how to keep things great for parents in this state. So, ready for some deep dive questions? We want to hear from your perspective. Why do you think it's so important that you are seated in this district as opposed to your opponents? We'll start with in order. Mike?
Well, thank you. The comment about Andrew Zwicker's vote on the religious exemption is just one example of how he is out of touch with mainstream New Jersey. He has voted on a number of occasions to raise the state income tax. He has voted to raise a tax on health care. And he is one of the legislators that voted for a $9.9 billion debt to be added to mortgage the future of our children and grandchildren when the state had a budget surplus. Now, it makes me speechless to think of how someone that presents himself as an intelligent individual would cast those kinds of votes. Vinny touched on something which is equally as important. The legislature constitutionally has an oversight responsibility on the executive branch, over the executive branch. I served as a member of the United States Congress, and I understand what government oversight is as a member of a legislative body. And I believe that Vinny and Joe understand that because of their experience at the local level and how they have had to live under the imposed edicts of an out-of-control state government, an administration that's out of control, and a legislature that has been a rubber stamp. They have done nothing. Andrew Zwicker, Roy Fryman, and the majority in the legislature have done absolutely nothing to hold the administration in check. And that's unconscionable. And that, in and of itself, we believe is sufficient reason for the three of us to be elected. But we're not just focused on that, but that's a huge issue. The legislature has an important role. There's 120 members of the legislature. And if you have a majority in both chambers that basically look the other way and allow the administration, no matter who the administration is, no matter who the governor is, that's wrong. Simply wrong.
We agree. Vinny?
Thank you. Listen, Mike said a lot there, and it's all true. You mentioned one thing, though, and that's my background in school board. My background is education. And when I look at my opponents, I'm scared to death of what they're doing to education in this state. And Roy Fryman, I'll give you a great example. He's the incumbent Democrat who we're trying to upseat. Roy lives in Hillsborough, New Jersey, which is in our district. Hillsborough this year lost $600,000 in school funding. Roy wouldn't fight for his neighbors. Roy is not fighting for residents across this state. We will, and we'll take that down to Trenton. There's nothing more that I need to say to talk about why we need to be in this seat as opposed to them. We'll fight for our neighbors, and we'll fight for New Jersey residents regardless of where they live.
Thank you. Joe?
Sure. What Mike and Vinny said, we're basically running on this same message here, all three of us. You could keep us separate and we'd still believe and say the same thing, no matter what. But the main reason why is, our opponents, look what they've done. Okay. They've sat silent for about 2 years now. They've let this governor take his executive powers, his emergency executive powers. They haven't challenged it. There's been over 5,000 deaths in nursing homes and veterans nursing homes. Not one of them even called anything out, asked for an investigation, nothing. Okay. I believe wholeheartedly that, and it's why I ran for council in Manville, same reason, that the people down in Trenton are so-called leaders who claim to be leaders. I think they've forgotten who actually goes to work every day, pays their bills, and keeps the lights on down in Trenton. And they don't represent every resident in New Jersey. They represent whatever political bosses are telling them to do, or whatever they're not representing the full constituency in New Jersey. And it's a shame. And the three of us are going down there, and we will represent everyone, and we will make the right decisions for every single resident in this state.
Thank you. One of our PAC top supporters has told the story of what you did in Manville to reduce taxes, and it's incredible. If you would like to share it, please go ahead.
Well, I know Mike's opponent in his plasma lab probably couldn't figure this out in there. It was very difficult, but we took a list of wants and a list of needs and we pushed the wants to the side. And when COVID came, we just threw them in the garbage at that point. But what we've done here is we just made common sense decisions. We needed new fire trucks, new police cars. We needed more police. We needed more workers in town. We did all that. But we stuck to what we needed for the people of Manville. And right now, our budgets, I apologize to the people of Manville, but we've increased the budget the most this year at 0.92% from a town level. And we've done all that, but it came down to just basic common sense. We don't need all the stuff that people wanted. But
to hear a place in New Jersey have that kind of, actually lower taxes is, find a way to not raise them. That's incredible. And we appreciate you sharing that.
And when we took the council over, the Republican Party in Manville, we were left with a $10 million deficit gift as well, which is paid off in full. So.
Wow. Impressive.
I'm sure that's significant to your constituents, to the constituents in your district, being that's one of the greatest issues, those pocketbook issues, the tax issues. So that's it's a great accomplishment to share. Thank you for sharing that.
What are your thoughts on the recent mask mandate that Governor Murphy just announced? Do you think children 2 years old and up should be masked for 6 hours a day and socially distanced? Mike?
Well, no, I do not support that. I think parents need to make those decisions, consult with their medical professional, and the governor should not make that decision. Very simple. In my day job, I am a town administrator, and I interact with our public health officials all the time. And I ask some very pointed questions about this, and I've done so for a year and a half. I ask them, what do you think, based upon, in this one instance, someone has 30 years of experience, what do you believe is the right course of action? And do you believe that these approaches that are being taken are the best approach? And people that have been honest with me have said they really are not sure. The reality is people are not sure. Government officials nationally, certainly here in the state, are making statements telling people that the best thing that they can do is to wear a mask and or get vaccinated. The fact of the matter is, a couple of weeks ago, I'm on a call with the county officials in Somerset. County health officer reported that particular day there were 41 new cases of COVID. 34% of those had been vaccinated. And she indicated that, and I had had a conversation with her several months before that on a couple of occasions, they are not sure how effective it is. Now, I think there are many people who are trying to do their best. They're trying to do what they think is in the best interests of individuals. But there are thousands, if not millions, of people in New Jersey are hanging on the words of the governor and other public health officials at the state level, making decisions on conjecture. And that's very serious. I think that people should be able to make their own decisions. If someone is compromised physically, they need to make decisions that are in their best interests. And people, I think, are smart enough to make those decisions, again, in consultation with their own medical professional. But the government should not dictate these things.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Yes. Vinny?
I'm the guy on the school board, right? I'm the guy who first got notified of Phil Murphy's newest executive order. I was the guy who had to deal with the questions from the parents. I think when we spoke this past week, I was telling you how my cell phone battery dies a whole lot quicker since that, with all the notifications coming in of emails and phone calls and text messages. Ding, 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 ding. It's all day long. It's every day. And, I've got to say I don't support it. I don't support the governor with this mandate. I need to, on the school board level, though, understand the ramifications of pushing back on the governor and to understand what tools are available to us, because this is an executive order. This is a guy who controls fiscal responsibility. He can come over and take over a school if he wants to. And, we need to make the decisions that are right for our students and right for our parents. We need to put their individual liberties first. We need to let them make the decisions that are important to their families, important to their religion, important to their health, rather than have that done from Drumthwacket in Trenton, or right now from Italy in his villa. So, it's important that we bring this back to home rule. Hunterdon's a whole lot different than many other parts of this country and this state. So we need to make the decisions at the district level. And quite frankly, at this point, I don't support it. We need to see what tools are available to push back in the governor, though.
Absolutely. It's very divisive what he's doing. His messaging is echoed, and we're seeing things around the state where there's creating division. And it's troublesome. It's frightening for what's to come, and as this steamrolls, what's next. We need representation for choice, and bringing people together, unifying, not dividing us. So we again value your stance. Thank you, Joe.
Sure. And to reiterate on what Mike and Vinny both have said already, it's. Being on the school board, and my wife is now, they're facing the same problems, but we had an outbreak, a pandemic that we've never seen before. And of course, there's going to be decisions that have to be made. And they told us to wear masks, that would prevent spread of this COVID virus. And it spread. They told us get locked down and stay home. It'll stop the spread, and it spread. They told us to get vaccinated. And once again, like Mike said, most of those cases were already vaccinated residents. When I decided to run for assembly with these two fine gentlemen, I always do the same thing when I decide to run for office. I write a little list, and I keep that list in my pocket until the day after election day. And the second thing I wrote on that list was choice for parents. And just being a former board member, I've always believed that it is the parents' decision on what's best for their children's health. I really do. You could imagine with our son, they told us to put him on Ritalin. They told us to do this and that. But we went to other experts. We went to other folks in Atlantic Highlands. We have a dear friend that runs an advocacy group for children with IEPs and special needs. And she enlightened us to this whole world and back to no. What's best for the children. But I am bringing a prop tonight for the mask question, and that would be.
Oh, thank you.
But that's how I feel about that. It is a parent's choice. The children are the victims in this thing because they're the easiest ones to go after. They really are. They have no one to defend them except their parents, and they're trying to eliminate that defense on our children.
Yeah, and I laugh, but it is not a laughing matter. This division and the fear that's driven on both sides, due to the circumstances. So,
may I make one other comment? We've spoken about the religious exemption and parental rights, very important. There's another part of this. There's some people who have medical conditions that prevent them from receiving certain medicines or chemicals. I have a family member who is not able to, is highly allergic to at least 2 of the vaccines, the vaccine substances. And that's another component of this that you don't hear a lot about. Joe referenced the experience with his son and his family and the research they had to undertake. And they ultimately were more educated. And I think that's another point. One more point. My opponent was interviewed recently by Michael Aaron, and he was asked about this, and he referred to 2 groups of people in New Jersey. He actually used that term. He talked about 2 groups, not a uniting statement. Talked about the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, and he used the term 2 groups of people. I hope that he'll explain that through this campaign.
Yep, exactly what I was saying. It's dividing us, and to your point, there are all different types of people that either have allergies to medications. There's those people. There's the people that are immunocompromised. There's many different situations. We need to be able to respect all of them. And with the recent orders of the governor, there's no loophole. There's no ability to for children that have IEPs and shouldn't be wearing masks because they need that for to be receptive to the teaching, as well as you mentioned, as I mentioned, immunocompromised who don't have an alternative in this time where there possibly is a flare-up. Then they aren't able to work from home and have remote learning. And given that option was taken away. So a lot of dictating and not a lot of being open to possibilities for everybody.
So a few quick fire questions. We'll start with Mike. What was your first paid job in life?
Well, as a human being or as an adult?
Either.
So as a young person, I mowed lawns. Probably was 10 years old and was mowing lawns in the neighborhood, family members, and loved the outdoors and still mow my own lawn.
Wow.
Good for you. Good exercise.
Yeah.
Any memberships that you're proud of?
A number, but I would say my proudest is the Somerset County 4-H Association. I've been an adult volunteer for many years. Was a club leader when our daughter was young, and continue even though she's a young adult now.
And who's your favorite music artist?
Michael W. Smith is a vocalist and a composer, and had the chance to see him in concert, actually meet him, and continue to be a big fan of his singing. And now he's pursuing a lot of classical and jazz arrangements, just musical without vocalization. He's a great talented man.
Do you have any pets?
I had a pet up until about a week and a half ago. Our 17-year-old Cocker Spaniel, Reagan, passed away, but had her for many years. I've had dogs most of my life, but don't have a pet right now.
I'm sorry.
Sorry to hear that.
Do you play any sports?
Well, when I had time, when I was younger, I played softball, and when I had time as an adult, I played golf, but really don't have time for much of that. The only physical exercise that I engage in now is a member of a gym called Orange Theory, and do that 4 or 5 times a week. And we knock on doors.
That's it. Don't underestimate door knocking, Mike.
Walking,
Do a lot of that.
walking.
You exercise.
Apparently, I'll be joining you.
Right.
Thank you so much. Vinny, what are your favorite places you visited on summer vacation with your family?
Yeah, great question. Every summer, we'd head down to Long Beach Island. We'd go to a place called Harvey Cedars Bible Conference. It was this like family retreat center. Met friends from around the country there. Every year I go back to visit because a lot of those families still go the same week. And I was actually just down there last week hanging out with some folks and the guy that owns the place, and just had a great time. A lot of good family fun that happened down there at Harvey Cedars. So it's been a fixture of my childhood, definitely.
That's awesome. Where did you go to grammar school?
I went to Three Bridges Elementary School in Three Bridges, New Jersey. Fast forward about 15 years later, and I was on the school board there. So kind of an odd juxtaposition. But yeah, that was a good time. Just don't go talk to them about stories from me.
Uh-oh. What historical figures do you especially admire?
Without a doubt, Abraham Lincoln. Definitely one of the hallmarks for me. North Star in a lot of different ways, who I look up to.
What do you like to do when you're not working and serving?
Great question. Not a lot of time when we're not working and serving. Working takes up 12 hours a day, and then the other 20 hours a day is door knocking and campaigning. But when that's not happening, I'm a hot air balloon pilot. So sometimes you'll see me floating around and landing in different neighborhoods and meeting some neighbors.
So I did read you'd be the first person in our legislature that was a hot air balloon pilot.
Was that a loaded question? Yeah.
No.
I believe, listen, I haven't fact checked that one, but we'll just assume that they were right in the NJ Globe. Hey, I'm all about it.
What sports car would you own and drive if you could?
I would own a gray Audi RS5 with a red interior.
Perfect.
Thank you. Joe, what's your favorite food?
Well, I'm from Manville, so kielbasa, pierogies, and potato pancakes. And I'm sticking with it, even though the last few years we've been on keto and clean food.
Boo. What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve, and my son knows this as a fact because he witnesses it every day for the last 11 years, is watching leaders in leadership roles assume and make decisions and not roll up their sleeves, do the hard work, research the pros, cons, and make a good, educated decision. Just jumping to a decision without even thinking about it.
What is your favorite Netflix series?
Can I name 2? Because it's a tie.
Sure.
Schitt's Creek. I love Schitt's Creek. It's great. And I love Orange is the New Black.
Oh,
Nice.
good.
And what's your favorite location to vacation in New Jersey?
As a child, Seaside Heights and Wild West City. But now as an adult, with the children going to college, well, they're still here. But they are in college. Cape May, definitely Cape May. I've been down there a few times and had some great quiet weekends.
Will you be a lifelong New Jersey resident?
I was born here. I lived here except for the time in the Army, and I'm going to stay here to the end. My kids are here. My family's here. This is my home forever, and this is where I'm staying.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's great. And we're in this together. So we'll be here too. Thank you guys. You know, we just wanted to create some lighthearted time so our viewers could get to know you the way we have a little bit, and really want to understand who you are and be able to support you. So for anybody who signed on or tuned in late, this is District 16, and they have received the NJPHIPAC endorsement seal, which means that they are supporters of our mission, and we want to get behind them. This is a very important district for us to protect and preserve medical freedom in 2021 elections on November 2nd. So I'm going to give you guys the floor. I want, if everybody could just go around and say, what does medical freedom mean to you? Short, sweet, whatever you want to go. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, we touched on it earlier, but it's allowing people, supporting their individual rights. It's not imposing a government edict upon someone who, for whatever reason, religious, personal, philosophical, emotional decision to decide what to do for themselves and for their families. They shouldn't be coerced. They shouldn't be bullied. They shouldn't be. There shouldn't be any demeaning comments. People shouldn't be called knuckleheads. That's insulting. That's disrespectful. We all deserve respect, and we deserve to be supportive of each other's individual decisions regarding our health, regarding our medical treatments, or determining not to have certain treatments. It's really as simple as that. It's a basic right that the government should not infringe upon. And as a legislator, I would be very consistently in that camp.
Excellent. Thank you. Vinny?
Yeah, it's simple. I'll keep it short and sweet. The ability to make your own decisions that are best for you and your family. There's not much more to it than that. This governor, this administration, and quite frankly, government has a tough time even balancing a budget. So what business do they have being in your own personal choices? It's all about your individual liberties and freedoms to do what's right for you and your family.
Thank you. Joe?
Sure. I'm a firm believer, like I said, choice for parents, choice for residents. It's up to you what you want to do with your medical life and what you don't want to do with it. It's your choice. It's your life. Vinny's right. They can't even get a budget together properly. They can't even get out of their own way down there right now. And, if I was to sum it up, I'd steal from one of my historical figures I admired was Ronald Reagan, where, the most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." I mean, yes. That should just be the dot at the end of the sentence, and that's it. We're going to go down there and fight for everyone, and everyone has their rights, and we're going to fight to retain those rights for the residents of this state.
Excellent. Thank you. Absolutely. It's about bodily autonomy. It's about choice. It's not a one size fits all, and we value and respect and thank you for your commitment to protecting and strengthen and being a voice to these messages at such a tumultuous time in history in our state. So there you have it, folks. Those are the legislative candidates for District 16. Senate Challenger Mike Pappas running for Senate, Vinny Panico running for Assembly, as well as Joe Lukac running for Assembly as well in District 16. And we hope by now you're able to see how important the success of this district is for health freedom in New Jersey. If you want to protect and strengthen those rights, you must become active. So there are several ways that you can do that. We at NJPHIPAC need your help to secure the right candidates in these seats. As a grassroots PAC, we don't yet have large contributions funding our efforts, but that doesn't inhibit our success. As long as we have a pool of contributions, in the eye of the legislator, our members equals constituents, which equals voters. So no contribution is too small to help get our donor base up. Signing up to be a monthly contributor to this PAC for just $5 a month sends a message to the legislators. It is like signing a petition. So this movement has grown exponentially. Help us show New Jersey state legislators what a large voting bloc we are. That will make it irrefutable to take our issues seriously. So Mike, I wanted to give you the last word. Do you have anything that you would like to tell the constituents about how they can get involved and how our community can help you guys in this pivotal election cycle?
Well, we have many ways. We need, frankly, we need financial support for this campaign. Our opponents are outraising us significantly. The special interests are pouring money into their campaign coffers. You don't need more to win, but we need a certain amount. We need to have people connect with our social media pages. But we need all of that. We need financial support. I think it's what was the Vinny? Help me out here. I don't have my notes here.
It's all good. Mike, I usually say there's three things that we need help with, right? The first one is the fundraising support. The Democrats are going to outspend us, but we're going to outwork them. Anything that you guys can do to help move us closer to that, we absolutely love. Second thing is like, follow, share on social media. It doesn't cost $1, but it's an easy way for you to get involved and spread our message throughout. Third thing is tell your friends and neighbors. If you don't live in District 16, I guarantee you know someone who does. You can go tell them about us. That's anywhere from Princeton to Reddington, Stockton to South Brunswick, and everywhere in between falls in District 16. So go out there, tell them about Pappas, Panico, and Lukac, because we're the ones that are going to take your voice and your vision down to Trenton. And I'll say this while we're here. We've got some events coming up on the radar. So September 23rd, we have a mini golf event here in Branchburg. And then if you're looking for something a little closer, every Wednesday in August, we'll be headed down to do some ice cream socials. So tomorrow we'll be here. Tomorrow is August 11th. We'll be here at Flemington at Humdo Ice Cream. I won't be there, but if you'd like to meet these two strapping young men on either side of me, head there. Next week, we'll be at Quality in South Brunswick. Then the 25th, we have the Bent Spoon in Princeton. We'd love to come out and meet you. And then the last thing that you could do if you want to help, sign up to door knock. We've knocked several thousand doors already. We're going to knock several tens of thousands of doors in the next couple of weeks. Come on out, meet some neighbors, meet some friends. I'm telling you, the conversations at doors are lively, and they'll make you feel really, really good about society having gone through them.
Excellent. Yes. And please stay connected to NJPHIPAC. Like our pages as well. Sign up for our emails by going to njphipac.org. And that will give you the information such as Vinny just shared with us, information like that, who we're endorsing, who we're getting behind, and how you can help activate our vision and our mission in this state. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. We, again, respect and value your position towards medical freedom. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
You too. Thank you. Good night.